Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Did I say 9-2? Actually, I'm sorry. It's 10-2. Okay, we have one moment here. Back on track here. How many this is the first time, aside from Miguel, I know, who's here for the first time? Oh, kind of first time, okay. Long time ago you were. 8 years ago. Oh, nice that you remembered to come back. Yeah. Uh-huh. Nice. So now we have 9-2 there? 10-2, right? Yeah, okay, great. Mm-hmm. So yes, this chapter is called the opulence of the Absolute and of... oh man, I blew it again. Lalitana, if you're going to help me, I'm getting senile here. 12-2. Okay, third time's the charm, they say in English, right? Okay, it's third time too. Yeah, okay. And you see the markers there also, so now we're on target. Okay, thank you, Mataji. Yes, so this is the Devotional Service, is the name of this 12th chapter. And the Bhagavad Gita is in how many chapters? 18, yes. So there's 6, 6, and 6. And the 6 middle, that's the confidential, center. And it's introduced by a cover, protective covering. And it's round up also with yeah, so these middle 6 chapters from 7 to 12, this is like the real core. So this is the final of the 6. The 6th of the core 6 chapters is this chapter 12, Devotional Service. And it's not a long chapter. It's only about 20 verses or something. So here we are with text number 2. I'll repeat later what text 1 was, okay, so we have a little context here. But anyway, let's go for the sound vibration. So first of all, please repeat. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Maya Vesha Mano Ye Mam. Maya Adva Mano Ye Mam. Nitya Yukta Upasate. Shraddhaya Parayo Petas. Te me yukta tama mataha. One more time, a little faster. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Maya Vesha Mano Ye Mam. Mano Ye Mam. Nitya Yukta Upasate. Shraddhaya Parayo Petas. Te me yukta tama mataha. Some volunteer?
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Maya Vesha Mano Ye Mam.
Maya Vesha Mano Ye Mam. Nitya Yukta Upasate. Adhaya Variyogate. One more. Maya Vesha Mano Ye Mam. Nitya Yukta Upasate. Shadayo Payato Petas. One more from the ladies' side. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Maye Vesha Mano Ye Mam. Nitya Yukta Upasate. Shradhaya Parayo Petas. Teme Yukta Tamama. I would be curious if those reciters were reading the Devanagari script or the Latin transliteration. But anyway, we'll leave that question on the shelf for the time being. Devanagari, all right, yeah. I'm envious. I wish I had that capability. Okay, please repeat again. Now we'll do word for word, okay, so we get an English translation and actually understand. How many, well, if I ask you in English, then everybody's going to raise their hand. But I assume that everyone here is English speaking, right? Okay. How many speak Danish here? Okay, yeah, okay, we have quite a international. How many speak Hindi here? Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, far out. Here we are in the global world of Hare Krishna here in Denmark. Yeah, here we go. Please repeat. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said. Maya, Mayi, upon me. Avesha, fixing. Mana, the mind. Yea, those who. Mam, me. With a capital M, Krishna speaking, right? Bhagavan, Krishna. Nitya. Who knows what it means? Always, yes. Yukta. Anybody know what that means? Engaged, yeah, always, actively, industriously engaged here. Upasate. Somebody know? Worshipping, yes. Oh, it's written up there. Hey, you guys are doing a trick on me here. Okay. Shradhaya, with faith. Paraya, transcendental. Upeta, endowed. Te, they. Me, by me. Yukta tamaha, most perfect in yoga. Mataha, are considered. So here's the translation by our founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada, who with blood, sweat, and tears, produced translated the Bhagavad Gita into English and blessed us with purports by which all over the world people are, for the last, now since he came 60-some years ago, people all over the world are now understanding Bhagavad Gita like never before. Of course, Bhagavad Gita is immensely well known since, in the West, at least for since colonial times, like a couple hundred years. But now we see, look at this gathering here today on a regular Sunday here. And so this is a great contribution that we can be grateful to Srila Prabhupada for giving us translation and purport. So here we go, translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshiping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. Yeah, the context was that after hearing about the universal form, right, in the previous chapter, Krishna displayed his Vishvarup to Arjuna, who was, astounded to see that everything in the universe was, connected in his friend Krishna's human-like body, So after experiencing that, wondrous vision, and then Krishna returning to his original form as, two-armed Shama Sundar, the friend of Arjuna, then Arjuna was feeling very pacified, after seeing this, wondrous, maybe even terrifying, universal form here, which with time and, all the time entails, both the destructive element of time also. So all that was going on in the previous chapter, and then Arjuna asked now a question in the first verse that was this: which is considered more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? Two different aspects of the Lord. The Lord is his personal personality. That's there. God the Father, they say in Christianity, and God and the Father, he's the lover, he's the friend, he's the master, and like that in his personal revelation. But then there's also an aspect of the Lord which is his eminence, the energy and the light and the effulgence coming from him, which is formless, as opposed to his body, is his personal form. As form, that means it is distinct from from background. There's form, his person, and background. They're distinct. But in the Brahman, that eternal and blissful, and but it's formless, and there are two different aspects here which are being countered, distinctions, a question of counter distinction. Which one is better? That was Arjuna's question in the previous verse. So here Krishna is answering quite, unmistakably that those whose minds are fixed on my personal form and are always engaged in worshiping me with great and transcendental faith are considered to be most perfect, higher than those who are attached or attracted by his impersonal Brahman, formless energy aspect. Okay? Now here we have a purport by Srila Prabhupada. The meaning here is delineated for us here. Quote now, this is Srila Prabhupada. In answer to Arjuna's question, that previous question, which one? Your personal form or the Brahman? In answer to in answer to Arjuna's question, Krishna clearly says that he who concentrates upon his personal form, H with a big H, Krishna's personal form, and who worships him, again, big H, with faith and devotion is to be considered most perfect in yoga. For one in such Krishna consciousness, there is no material activities, because everything is done for Krishna. A pure devotee is constantly engaged. Sometimes he chants, sometimes he hears, or reads books about Krishna, or sometimes he cooks prasadam, vegetarian food, right? Prasadam to be offered to the deity, and goes to the marketplace to purchase something for Krishna. Or sometimes he washes the temple or the dishes. Whatever he does, he does not let a single moment pass without devoting his activities to Krishna. Such action is called full samadhi. Samadhi, a word which comes from the yoga, the culmination of yoga. There are different limbs of the Ashtanga Yoga, and they are all perfected in this samadhi when one is in complete trance. In yoga, we usually think of someone who is in meditation and withdrawn. Their senses have been drawn in from the sense objects, and they're absorbed in meditation, their samadhi. But here we see that samadhi, in the sense of Krishna consciousness, it means going to the store and shopping, but for Krishna. He's thinking, oh, Krishna has sent me now to buy the whatever it may be that is required for the service of Krishna. That's samadhi. Or washing the floor. Here they're carrying in the bhoga to be offered to the deity. And shoveling the snow or whatever, chanting like we were doing yesterday outside, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did in Navadvip for some 500 years ago. He introduced this practice of chanting on the street. How many people heard the mantra that when the devotees were walking through the whole town yesterday for 2 hours? How many people heard the Hare Krishna mantra? Many. And some of them took out their phones and were like, like this, cool, this is that. And others started to go like, So, that's wonderful. And, Krishna is looking for the opportunity. He created this whole material world because we wanted to be in this atmosphere of trying to be the Lord of our family or of our neighborhood or of whatever, and to have some fun here separate from Krishna. So he gave us this playground here. But he really wants us to remember him and go back to our real playground with him in the spiritual world in different roles. We all have a spiritual form. It's said in the scriptures. And this material form of, man, woman, this, that, or the other, whatever kind of passport you're holding or, whatever this form that we have here, this is not our essential form. It's a covering. And it's, not going to last forever. But of course, it could result into another covering, a subsequential continuation of this play game that we're doing here and forgetful of Krishna and thinking of, money or enjoyment or, power, fame, this, that. So many things are attracting everyone in this material playground. But at one point, those who are learned, they want to see that this is pointless. It doesn't fulfill my essential desire or need, this external stimulation. And the external stimulation, even if I attain it and get exactly what I was aiming for a long time. It doesn't last. So those who are intelligent, they think, no, this better that we give up this, and they try to merge into this Brahman, this impersonal, formless liberation state, where one is free from death, free from getting old, and free from, all sicknesses that this body is prone, or, not just prone, this body is inevitably condemned to, so the Brahman is a very wonderful liberation. It's free from, it's eternal, and there's no suffering. It's, a very wonderful state. But Krishna says here that, that's not the perfect state. The perfect state is when we reassume our forgotten identity as Krishna's servant, or Krishna's friend, Krishna's parent even, Krishna's lover. There's all sorts of different rasas, different dynamic relationships with Krishna in the spiritual world, which is, beyond our capability of understanding with our scientific instruments of, highly technological telescopes and microscopes and laboratory experiments where we can predict all these laws of the material occurrences. We know what's going to happen tomorrow because we've, scientifically established that this is a law of nature. But, all that's wonderful knowledge, with artificial intelligence and, gigantic data banks and all that. It doesn't get to the other side of reality, which is the metaphysical, that which is beyond our scientific investigation. For example, who's your father? There's no scientist who can, tell you that. But, I learned from my brothers and sisters, they were calling him Dad. So I began to call him Dad also. But, actually you have to listen to an authority, The mother, she's authority. So similarly, we have beyond our scientific purview, then we have to hear from a verbal assertion from a reliable informant, right? Then we can understand things which are metaphysical. What happens after death, or, who am I actually beyond this gross physical and, mental and intellectual, body? Who am I actually? That human question, that essential human question, that has to be heard from an authority. That doesn't preclude that we use our brain. We've been endowed with God with, empiric abilities. We use our senses to observe reality. That we must do. And we've also been awarded, a cognitive power of logic, and, that we can also use. But we must also acknowledge, don't we, that there is more to it than what we can grasp with our limited ability. Reality it's inconceivable. That's the word that is used here. Is it? No, it's not in here. We read it this morning, but okay, that word is not exactly here. But that doesn't mean that we have to give up, that we can't understand it, the truth of reality, what is metaphysical truth. No, But we have to learn it from a reliable and a reliable source. Therefore, it says in the Upanishads, it says, Sai Guru. Now it's escaping me, but it says that you must accept the spiritual master. And who is that? Yeah, he's a spiritual master. Is he who has heard Shrotriyam. He has been given the reality, the Vedic knowledge, the knowledge of the Vedas, and he has assimilated it. He has made it his own, and therefore his testimony is reliable. That's a mystery, that the Guru is hearing from the Vedas, the eternal sound vibration, the eternal truth, and that Guru will repeat it exactly as he or she has heard it. But at the same time, that spiritual master must have assimilated that and presents it in a way which is understandable and also hopefully interesting for the listener. That's a mystery, because that he's transparent. I keep saying he, that doesn't preclude that it's a she. Our first guru is actually Mother. She taught us how to talk. She taught us how to, to be clean and everything, and then, yeah. So, but the guru is transparent. But at the same time, the guru is a person who is unique and individual. And Krishna wants, just like we have an individual relationship with Krishna, which we've forgotten, or maybe even have, rejected, or, so that to revive that requires a surrender. That's what Krishna wants, because we have gone our own way, and Krishna has, enabled that by his, in the form of Mahavishnu, he's created this material playground. So we're going on our own, at our own risk, in the laws of karma, we're involved, Krishna allows that. But he wants us to return to him. But, he's not a fool to, in order that we may show our sincerity that we actually are returning to him. That requires surrender. We have to really show him. So the guru is that person who is even more merciful than Krishna. Krishna has allowed us to go our own way. He's not involved, okay, He wanted to keep us with him, but we were insistent. No, I'm going, okay? So Krishna said, okay, so be it, So now he's distant, apparently, he's not involved with us. But the guru, he's more kind. He comes and he sees that you're in ignorance. We are, speaking for myself, in ignorance, that we're bewildered, that we're suffering, that we're, in need. And he comes to us at risk, at his own risk, and he tries to tell, like the inmates in the prison, please, be a good prisoner and get out of here, So he is a unique person, and our surrender to Krishna has to be through his agent. Krishna won't allow us. He won't. We're not we can't make a convincing argument to Krishna that we want to surrender to him if we ignore his agent. So therefore, the guru is complete. Tad eva begachim, sagarum eva begachim, samitpani shrotriyam brahmanishtam. That was what I was trying to think of, And that means that, you're samitpani, you're supposed to approach the guru with samitpani, with firewood in the hands. What does that mean? Traditionally the guru would have an ashram, and he would have his, brahmachari students, living young men, celibate, and he would engage them in performing fire yagyas. So they would collect firewood from the forest and bring it to the guru, and then he would teach them how to recite the mantras and perform the fire sacrifice, symbolic of surrender. So that is an absolute necessity. Tad vigyanam sagarum eva begachit samitpani shrotriyam brahmanishtam. He's shrotriyam, he is heard, and he's brahmanishtam, which means he has absorbed this message of the Vedas, and he has, assimilated it, and he has now appropriated it for us. And he says it exactly as he heard it. He's 100% faithful to the source, his guru, Shrotriyam. He is obedient, he's loyal, he's attached, he's, a true servant of, he's like Prabhupada said he was like a peon. You know this word? In English, it's a peon. It means a menial servant, someone who just does his service for the sake of the master, very unassumingly. That's the guru. He's not proud that he's given the position of representing Vyasa. That he must do. He must take the seat and sit up, but his business is to simply serve the cause of his guru in transmitting this very important message in a transparent way, but in a way which will grab the attention of the listener. It's a mystery, those two things, to be totally transparent and at the same time to present it exactly in a way which is perfect for the time, place, and circumstance. Just like Prabhupada, I'm wrapping up here now. And, Prabhupada, like we said in the beginning, he presented the Bhagavad Gita in a way that all over the world, it's translated in 40 languages at least, Bhagavad Gita as it is. There's more. But whether it's in Korean or whether it's in Telugu or whether it's in, Pidgin English or whatever language it is, people are able to understand it. So, that's Prabhupada's tremendous contribution. And also he is empowered by the super soul in the heart. The guru is also in our heart in the form of the super soul. And he will help us to understand the Bhagavad Gita as it is, because we're getting it from the correct source and we're opening our ears and receiving it. So thank you very much for opening your ears and receiving my humble attempt here to say something about Lord Krishna's message here, which was that of the two, either, the Brahman, to be attached to this formless energy, the effulgence from Krishna's body, all pervasive, blissful, eternal energy. That's one side, which is it? That, or Krishna's saying here, no, better than that, the most perfect, that's the one who's always engaged in serving me in my personal form as, in Nitya Yukta, going to the store and buying, whatever, or cleaning the floor, or, hearing about Krishna, or chanting, or reading books about Krishna's, cowherd boy pranks, stealing the butter and, stealing the gopis' clothes and all the things that he did in Vrindavan. So that's better. That's higher. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Questions? Or no, it's japa now, right? Okay. We have questions later?
We can do questions and answers after the feast.
Okay.
Or we could,
If you can remember. We have a feast, and that might take some, attention.